everybody, it's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. I'm here to go over episode 2 of Tongue Twister, Real World Homecoming, LA. Excuse me. Off top, excuse the no glam. I get my hair done in the morning, so it's just slick back. It looks a mess. I kind of feel weird with my hair looking like this, but let's just get into it. If you come at 8 and you watch this on the rewatch, I apologize. I set my lives up an hour apart in case they go over, but the one prior didn't go over and everybody wants to come right back and not wait. So here we are. So if you're watching it on the rewatch, thank you. I apologize if you came at 8 and I wasn't live. But let's get into this episode because episode 2 was so needed after episode 1. Episode 1 had me angry because I felt like it was clownery going on episode 1 instead of maturity and understanding. Episode 2 opened me up to the clownery, and then it seemed like the clowns switched places. No disrespect, but this episode it took me on a roller coaster. So we open up the episode. Tammy is in the kitchen because last week David was laughing. He was like, roll the video back. I want to prove everybody was laughing. Forget your past and your apology, Tammy. Roll the video back. So Tammy is upset like David isn't taking what I just said seriously. And I felt Tammy. David did not take you seriously. The two people that got up to go check on Tammy was Glenn, who just wanted to tell Tammy she was beautiful the way she is, which is going to come into something that Tammy says later. Like, Tammy felt like she revealed this huge secret about herself, having body dysmorphia, and people didn't give her enough empathy for her revelation. But if somebody comes up to you, if you're not a licensed therapist and you don't know how to talk to people about something so deep, you say not surface level like you don't care, but like surface level stuff just because you don't know what deeper to say. Like, Tammy, you're beautiful. You never needed to wire your mouth shut. You're beautiful the way that you are. And of course, Tammy, we understand you don't see it, but Glenn and Beth and everybody else in the house who are not licensed therapists, we don't know how to go deeper for you than I feel for you. Like, outside of I feel for you, do you need me to help you get some help? Which you don't need none of them. You the baddest one walking from the show. But that's at the end of the episode, and that's the only part with Tammy that kind of rubbed me wrong. But let's go in order. So Glenn and Beth are in the kitchen checking on Tammy. And at this moment, I understand Tammy's frustration. Like, David's still here playing games. It's odd that the two people who weren't present for the event, it's not odd. It makes perfectly good sense. The two people who weren't present for the event were the ones who could check in on Tammy, while everyone else who was present have their own guilt. David is not the only guilty one. Everyone else who was present is holding on to their own guilt. So they don't know how to check on Tammy because they just waiting for the camera to come focus in on them. So they calm Tammy down. She comes back in. This is when David issues an apology. Tammy checks David. I'm here for the checking. Your apology came in the wrong order. It was my revelation. I told you why I was laughing. I explained to you what was going through my head at that moment. It should have been apology next. Everything else after that should not have happened. And I'm here for Tammy. It should not have had to been apology, our revelation, roll the camera back, laugh. I get upset. I storm out the room. I make you look like an asshole again. Come back, now you want to apologize. That shouldn't have happened. And David, after seeing the rest of episode 2, I understand why David had tunnel vision on trying to just clear his name. I get it. But before you can clear your name, you have to accept full accountability for your parts and genuinely apologize for your parts, which I felt like he did. I felt like after he heard Tammy the second time, he heard Tammy episode 2. I felt like he gave her a sincere apology, and that was the closure I needed to see after all these decades. That's what I needed to see. Both of them come to an understanding and a genuine apology. Everything that happened thereafter was a little bit heartbreaking. Eric, you said Beth and Irene definitely are guilty. I can't wait till I get to them. We're about to get to them right now. So after the true apology happens, red alert comes up on the TV again. And now we introduce the word rape to the blanket pulling scenario. Beth and Irene are not owning up to their part. They aren't verbally owning up to it, but trust me, Tammy and David and the footage showed where they were wrong. This is what I want to say to Beth and Irene. One, let's get the bitch Beth on out the way. Beth was there acting. I don't believe Beth is sorry. I don't believe Beth cares anything about David. I don't think Beth even cares about clearing her name, because Beth was there still giving you fluff answers. I do feel like Irene recognized exactly what she did as being wrong. She recognized the power and the privilege of what she did as being wrong. And I think Irene sits in the guilt of it. Now, I don't think she got home depressed and swirling and swerving and swirling in it. No, but I think she does understand the magnitude of what she did. Get in the chat before I go all the way in. And I do feel like Irene's apology was sincere. But are we going to give Irene a pass? Because everybody was like, oh, we were 20, 22, 23. Does Irene get a pass for being in her 20s at this moment of time? And maybe being young and dumb and not understanding the magnitude of it at that time? Does Irene get a pass for that before I go in? I'm not giving Irene a pass. The whole time I'm listening to Irene, because the one thing she said without even being out there to see what happened is, I'm going to get on the phone, call the police, and yell rape. And then Irene got on this TV screen. Okay, you're right. So that's why I'm about to continue to say what I got to say about Irene. She don't get a pass. Then you got on this TV screen in 2021 when this was filmed and said, I was a cop and I was scared. Do you know how triggering those words are to African American people? Because the whole time I'm listening to Irene, I'm like, how are you the police and gonna call the police? How are you the police scared to de-escalate a situation when you are trained to de-escalate situations? If Irene, I hope to God Irene is no longer still a police officer, because she's the type of police officer that will pull a black person over, shoot, and say she was scared, and then go back in the court where I was scared for my life. Why are you a police officer? Why go through the training to learn how to de-escalate but not know how to do it when you in the moment? I pray to God Irene is no longer a police officer. Those are the type of police officers that need to get up and go. Because they act first and then think later and want to be sorry later. Because they're scared. I'm like, girl, you was... all the flashbacks they shown, Irene wasn't scared of David. She got in David's face many a times, and let David know exactly how she felt. She let everybody know. And for the fact they showing more and more footage of her saying, throughout the episode, I had to sleep with my gun that night. What did he do that made you think you needed to have a gun that night, and you weren't even out there to witness it? That shit pissed me off. And that's why I give people like Irene no passes. Not, like I said, I do feel like Irene was sorry, and I think she understood the magnitude of what she, I don't want to say she meant to say it or not, but I will say I think over the 28 years, Irene understood what she did was wrong, and she was sitting in it. Beth the whole time had a smirk on her face, and she just did not. The whole time Beth didn't want to get dragged, and I felt like David was getting into their asses because he said, fuck you. He said it with more emphasis than me, but I ain't as angry as David, so I can't get it exactly how he had it. But he was like, fuck you, fuck both of y'all and production. And I felt that when he said it. And Beth was not sorry. The whole time, well, David, you did this. David, you did that. I felt like you did this. I felt unsafe. When he wasn't doing shit to you, and Beth, you were still down there laughing. You owe Tammy an apology. So Beth forever can kiss my ass. I don't think she cared at all. Because when the whole thing was over, now you want to go have another private conversation with David to say, you got anything else you need to say to me? You can say it to me now. Girl, how about you just apologize for your part? And if you were sincere in the house, when you so-called apologize, why do you need to have a second conversation? Beth was doing all this shit for TV, and she can miss me with it. You right. Beth was full of crap the entire conversation. She doesn't care, and she'll cry those rape tears again. So, let's move it on forward. They showing more clips of how production played their part, how production wanted to kick him out of the house, but still have him sign an agreement to be filmed at what he gonna do after getting kicked out, so they can exploit him even more. You gonna make an ass of me for getting kicked out, but then you want to film me some more on me getting kicked out. David is pleading with production like, I feel like if Tammy could have spoken to David alone and hear him out in that moment, they could have had a one-on-one conversation and squashed it in the moment. Because like Tammy said, and I'm so happy she said, I never said nothing about rape. I ain't never said nothing about being assaulted. I just said I was disrespected and embarrassed. I think she said humiliated and disrespected. I agree. But I felt like Beth and Irene was in the ear. Beth and Irene always wanted David out the house. That's why production is at the table. I just want to make sure it's not because you dislike David. It's because you're threatened, right? Production knew they weren't threatened, but they didn't give a fuck neither. And so it gets even more disheartening as David is talking about, industry jobs that he had lined up, and everyone is talking, because, Hollywood ain't but that big. Everyone's like, didn't you pull a blanket off of somebody? You can go. And to see David sit at that production meeting in tears because he knows the impact, and he's the only Black man in that room, mind you. Sometimes you just have to be Black to understand the feeling. I'm not saying other people can't empathize and feel for us, but when you actually have to feel it, he's the only Black person in that room who knows the magnitude of white women saying rape, knows the magnitude of just having that word and your name in the same sentence is life cancellation. David already knew the writings on the wall when he heard them just saying the word. And they were fucked up for that. And I don't know everything that happened to David in his life after he got kicked out. True enough, he has to take accountability for getting the wheels in motion. But I felt like they should have left it at David and Tammy. Production should have at least encouraged a conversation between David and Tammy. So they could have at least had a moment of closure on the show while it was still filming. It could have still been, David, you still got to get out. But, whatever they would have talked at that point in time. Right. In that meeting, he knew his career was over. And I felt for him. And watching him cry, I'm not an emotional person. Ain't no tears fall down my face. I ain't going to be a liar. But my eyes did water up. Not enough to fall, but I was like really saddened at just the aftermath of that situation, where even in my younger brain, I didn't think it should have been to the magnitude of what it was. But let's move on. I already talked about, I forgot, somewhere in the mix of things, John apologized too. He felt his guilt. Tammy, I know I tugged the blanket first, and I apologize for my couple of tugs, and I shouldn't have beat the floor like that. I apologize. John and Beth, I ain't gonna say John isn't sorry, but I don't think John understands. I don't think he understands the situation either. I don't think any of them understand how their reactions to what David was doing shaped the night. Because I'm still with David. I don't understand. Like, the only one whose anger I understand is Tammy, because it happened to her. But everybody else, in the moment, you all thought David was joking as well. Because if any one of you in that moment didn't think it was a joke, you would have stepped in for Tammy and said, okay, David, that's enough. But by John beating on the floor, Dominic and Aaron in the background pointing and laughing, even though Beth is kind of wrestling with David for the blanket, she's laughing. So in all of your mindsets, you all are thinking it's a joke too. It wasn't until Irene and Beth made it more than what it was that everybody else now not be safe. John was the youngest in the house. I don't think he really understood what was going on. He didn't. And I'm not, trust me, I went to college. I had plenty, I ain't gonna say they were drunk, but drunken, just play around nights where one moment of playing around, by the end of it, got real. I think many people in life in that young of an age have been there with some shit started off as a joke, and by the end of it, the shit got real. And in my younger 20-something mind, I might be like, y'all tripping. Like, this ain't even that deep. A lot of 20-year-olds don't get it. But by now, for John being so close to Tammy, he could have had more than just, I'm sorry for that one time I pulled the blanket. I shouldn't have did that. Miss me with all of it. And they still ain't addressed. They could have gotten Beth's ass. What made what you do to Dominic pulling his blanket any different than what David did to Tammy? Now, I understand it's a difference, but pretty much Beth did the same thing. But let's move on. I don't want to talk about Beth and her private conversation with David. We already talked about that. Next thing you know, Tammy comes out and tells Beth she ain't fucking with her or John, because when she got upset, they ain't come in the kitchen and check on her. And Tammy went somewhere, I forgot who she was talking to before she came out there. She was like, I feel like David getting all this attention when I'm the one that was the victim. I was the one with body dysmorphia. Why everybody apologizing and crying for David? That took me left. Tammy, because I felt like when you and David hugged and apologized and had that sincere moment, I felt like that was, let's close the door. We don't have to keep opening up the Tammy and how Tammy felt door when you have closure. That's the whole point of having closure. Like, your moment was over. And it kind of felt like when Tammy was getting mad at everybody, she was kind of like, that's why I don't want to tell people stuff. I tell everybody I got body dysmorphia and I ain't even got 2 words to say about it. And I'm like, Tammy, what do you want people to say? I wouldn't know what to say if my best friend came in here talking about she got body dysmorphia. I would ask her, well, what is it? What are you feeling? Can I get you some help? You know, I don't know how deep you want these people who you have not even talked to in over 2 decades. What do you expect them really to say to you? And how long of an episode you think we want to watch of you just telling people you have this disorder, unless you're going to really break down what the disorder is and how it's affecting you and all of this? What else do you want people to say? It just made me feel like Tammy wanted the spotlight to all be on her and forget David and forget his closure. It's about me. They addressed that, all the stuff that was going on. And mind you, I was even younger than them back then. So I really wasn't paying attention to the stuff that was going on in LA. So I understand the moment in time. So let's keep fast forwarding. David gives more about his backstory. He goes to visit his daughter, a beautiful daughter. I want David to have, I know this episode wasn't really his redemption. It was kind of like his truth, his moment to finally tell his side of the story. It's a shame it had to take 28 years for them to tell it. Like, I wish maybe at 30, a lot of people get a lot more mature at 30. Maybe 20 years ago, he could have had this moment and could have maybe gained his career. I really wish he would have had it that season in 93, but it didn't happen. You can't go back. Ugh, there go a spam person again. I really got to research how to block them out the chat. I hate it. But I would like to see what David can do in the industry now. Like, if you were funny once, you can be funny again. I didn't watch episode 3, you all. I will probably watch that this weekend. No promises. My son is coming home tonight. He should be flying in about an hour. No, about 2 hours. So you know how it is when they first come back. I don't want to make no promises, but teenagers don't really pay their parents too much attention. So he probably ain't going to pay me too much attention this weekend. But he'll be home for a month on Christmas break. But I do want to watch episode 3. Episode 3, they're going to get into John being a virgin still. And we could all crack our jokes, but at the end of the day, that's that man's decision and you have to respect it. It wouldn't be a lot of us, but proud of him for standing for something, because a lot of people get weak and that whole to marriage thing fly out the window. So, and then it looks like they want to paint a picture of David being a drunk. Now, let me tell you, David looked like after the real world, I don't know how far after the real world, but it looked like at some point he had a hard life. When I saw that crack in his skull, he said it was from a bicycle accident. I believe you. But it reminds me of an aunt I had growing up. She passed away a long time ago. But she had that same crack in the front of her skull. Damn, I'm telling my family business. I shouldn't be doing it. But they don't know which aunt I'm talking about. Because she was drunk and got hit by a train and smashed her skull in. So when I see people, the first thing I saw, and it could have just been a reference of my childhood, I was like, David probably looked like he got a drinking problem. Just because I referenced drinking problems to cracks in the skull. I probably shouldn't do that. But that was the first thing I thought. I was like, he has some kind of issues. It looks like life has not been easy for him. And I hope he can get it together. If he does have a drinking problem, hopefully this show can help him at least get to a platform where he can get some help. Because I would like to see David try it in Hollywood again. What were the Wayans brothers, whoever was working with him, Jim Carrey, all of y'all he was naming. If you thought he was funny once, give him a small opportunity to try again. There's so many streaming platforms, so many straight to streaming. Hell, even Zeus. Put him somewhere, at least give him an opportunity to be funny. And If he makes it, he makes it. If he doesn't, at least you can't say you didn't give him another chance. Hell, Paramount, give him a little reality show and let's see where David is now. I will watch it. But Eric, you said wait till I see episode 3. Don't give me. I mean, I guess you can give me a spoiler. I already watched the preview. I want to know, what episode does Tammy call Reggie to the house? Because I want to know. Oh, I love that moment when David told Beth, "You were so scared to live with me. What you doing sleeping in the same house with me now?" Did I forget to make this point? I think I got sidetracked in my own thoughts. What pissed me off about Tammy wasn't letting Beth, she kind of let Irene sit in it. But when David was getting into Beth's ass, Tammy was piping up, trying to save Beth. I wanted Tammy to sit there and be quiet and let David give Beth everything he had in her to give. A lot of people was telling me in Twitter and in the chat that Beth and Irene didn't get everything they should have got. I felt like Tammy sideswiped some of that. When they were lighting fire into their ass, Tammy should have shut up and let it happen. Because like Tammy said, you ain't say rape. So let them two bitches that did say it get the bullets coming their way. That's what I wanted to say about Tammy. She was piping up when that's why Beth and Irene didn't get everything they should have got. But I will be here for episode 3. I believe I'm going to set up some lives Sunday night. You know, Sundays. Beth didn't own up to anything because when David was trying to make his points, Tammy was jumping in saving Beth, which I don't understand. But Sunday is usually when I do my reality shows. I probably will do Love and Marriage Huntsville, Ready to Love, and if I watch episode 3 of The Homecoming, I'll tag that in with my other lives for Sunday night, and we'll get into that episode 3 then. But episode 2 gave me the closure I needed to get past episode 1, because episode 1 didn't sit well with me. That show 20 something is on Netflix. That's the name of the show. Thank you for telling me, Eric. I had seen that coming up, that it was going to come out today, and I guess I didn't save it to my favorites. So when it came out today, it just erased from my bottom, whatever that part at the bottom of Netflix is. And I knew it was like The Real World, and I was like, I couldn't think of the name of that show for nothing. 20 somethings. Okay. Is it good? Did you start watching it yet, Eric? Is it worth a watch, or can I just leave it alone? I'm about to look that up now so I don't forget. 20 something. I do want to watch that. That's what I'm going to watch tonight while I'm waiting for my son to get in from the airport. Did you watch it, Eric? Is it good? Oh, there it is right there. Let me go back. Oh, I done lost it again. It's a lot like The Real World. That's what I was thinking it was like, but is it good? You can check out an episode or 2. I'm going to check it out. I'm going to tell you right now. I done hit the play. I didn't mean to hit that. I just want to stare. I saved it to my favorites. It keep telling me to preview. I don't have a lot in common with the 20-year-olds of today. And the way they do these real world type shows today, it's all about hookups, who I'm going to hook up with in the house. And then it's usually the girl. I'm going to roll my eyes at every girl he look at while I'm in the house because I'm also in love after 2 or 3 days. They going to have sex after about 3 or 4 nights. I don't know. I'm going to give it a chance. But if it's like that, it's probably gonna lose my interest. Like I really want to see storyline, and I really want to see. I want to see how these 20-year-olds are doing it. It seems like it's gonna be a lot of Instagram and Twitter. I don't know, but you say it's different, so I'm definitely gonna check that out, Eric. Thank you for reminding me the name of the show. If it's anything like for me to review it, I needed to have some kind of subject matter that has the interesting talking points. Like if it's just gonna be hookups and arguments, I'm not gonna review that. But if they have some kind of socially conscious moments or just interesting topics of conversation that I want to add my 2 cents on, I will get into that. I will get into that. They are in 2 houses next door to each other. Well, how many people is it? I'm gonna give it a chance. I'm gonna give it a chance. 2 houses might. I don't know. You said you don't think it's worth reviewing. It's probably not, but I will watch. And if you follow me on Twitter, that's Kiss My Cheeks TV, I will tweet about it if I see something popping off. But that's it, you guys. Thanks for rocking with me on this Sunday night. I had a great time talking about these past 2 episodes or these past 2 shows. If you jumped in on this one, I just finished All Stars 2 for the challenge. So, 8 people, 4 guys. That's about typical. They usually have 7 to 8 people in the house. It's not split up guys and girls in different houses. That will be interesting. I'm gonna watch it. I'm getting ready to go downstairs and watch it now. Ain't nothing else on TV. And I gotta get off of here because I look a mess. I hate putting out videos where I look a mess, but only because I'm getting my hair done in the morning. That's the only reason. So I'm gonna get off of here. Thank you all for rocking with me. I know the people that are in every chat, and I appreciate you all for rocking with me. I'll be back Sunday night to go over the reality shows of the weekend. And you know the schedule. Next week, Thursday, will probably be the challenge finale with the trio, me, Charles, and Drew. And we're going to have a good time over there when the trio get together. We're going to do games and all that fun stuff. Then Friday will probably be the Survivor finale with me and Charles. And then I probably will push this Real World Homecoming and All Stars 2 to Sunday because I got a party next Saturday. I can't even lie about next Saturday. It'll probably be Sunday. But I will post the schedule up throughout the week and remind you all of what it will be. And I will see you all later. Have a good one. Bye.